When people are motivated for something and they really want it, they show up. Right? So they show up, you can't keep them away. You can't beat them with a stick away when they really want something, right? So what I want to help you understand so you don't get frustrated with these leads or people coming in, we're going to kind of go over that so your mindset is really clear. And then also you don't get like that roller coaster emotional ride with these potential clients that can happen to the best of us. Because in our opinion, we feel like, look, you called me, right? You responded to my promotion. Like, why am I even chasing you? Or why are we even not having this conversation? It seems so logical. But what we don't understand is when we understand better, again, that zone of the yellow, green, red that we talked about last time, and really start categorizing our leads that way, it's going to go so smoother. You're going to look at it so much more objectively, and you're not going to get emotionally attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's still kind of there, you still get, especially when you really are excited about a lead coming in or booking this person, you're like, wow, this is gonna be exciting. They want to buy all this stuff. And then somehow the conversation just ghosts, right? And I think it's a product also of our culture now that we've never seen before. And I think we're going into new territory. And what I call it is completely mental stimulus overload. I mean, the brain is short circuiting. We have too many things going on that are throwing at this old brain that is geared for caveman days. Like our brain has not caught up with technology at all. Even the guys that are like 23 years old and they're all gamers and they think they're all that, their brain is still short circuiting left and right, right? I'm sure they're missing this, they're missing that, they're not able to multitask. They can focus on one thing. And the way that our brains are is we're made to focus on one or two things at a time. If we get overloaded, we start getting stressed out and we start short circuiting and we start getting forgetful and we blow things off. So that's what's happening, in my opinion, right now. And I was thinking about this the other day, especially on Instagram. I think people are starting to get more and more away from it because, as you know, and you guys probably experience this, when you go on there, you go on there and it's like almost this massive overwhelm, right? Like all this stuff hits you. Think about it, right? Your own experience. You just go on Instagram and then you just get all these feeders thrown at you. Look at this video, look at that video. And it's like, whoa, like I'm not even interested in all this stuff, right? Like it's too much for the brain. So what do we do with these clients? What we have to do is try to simplify things, make things very easy and clear, and then also just realize what they're dealing with, right? They're dealing with distraction too. And they're dealing with disconnection as well. And that's why it's very important that you have your point of difference, right? Because they're also not sure when they're a cold lead. Remember, when they come in that door from an ad, they're considered cold, which means they don't know anything about you. They just saw this ad and they're like, oh yes, that might solve my problem. They're interested, but they're not connected to you yet, right? And remember, we talked about maybe a few percentage of them will be in the green go, like ready to go. Then you're gonna have the yellow and red, which is kind of that nurture phase, if you will. Now, your social will help back up feeding that quicker, right? So the more that they see you aware, and that's why I talk about going into the community is so important, especially now more than ever, because the distraction and the competition is even higher and everybody looks like a rock star online. Everybody has a beautiful logo. Everybody looks like $1 million. It's harder for the consumer to even know who's a professional anymore. Who's not, who should I go to? They look at you guys all the same in a way. So it's even more important now that you do those personal connections, which is going out into the community. Remember, you only need a 20-mile radius. You don't need people across the US. You don't need people in China. You don't need people in other states to see you. You just need people in 20 miles in your neighborhood. That's it. That's easy comparatively to other things, right? So, and even you don't even need 20 miles. You could even do 5-mile radius. There's plenty of women in 5 miles around your business to make you a full practice by far. Okay. So it's so important to make getting out in the community and connecting personally your number one goal in the beginning, because that is going to buffer the frustration you will have with cold leads. Cold leads are frustrating. Okay, it's part of the deal. It's just like real estate agents, right? They go out and they get frustrated. Oh my God, I went and this lady didn't show up for this buyer. I drove 2 hours. And the people say that's part of the business model. Unfortunately, that's what you're in, right? If you don't want that, then what's your alternative? You have to do more of the events and connecting and more of that to build up. Because remember, our business is different. The beauty business is different than going to a doctor's office, right? So you might think, well, why do I have to do all this stuff? They want the service. They should be, showing up and coming. And a lot of them do. Most of them will not no-show you. I don't mean that, but I mean just getting them to actually book and getting them committed to coming in and building that income, right? So remember the buyer's journey, okay? If they just see an ad on Facebook and they don't know about you anywhere at all, they've never seen you in an event, they've never seen you online, you can imagine that they're very distant from you. There's no personal connection. So the fastest thing you can do is build a personal connection so that they also start warming up to you, because it's a lot harder to ignore and no show and disconnect from someone that you feel connected to, right? Like if it's your friend, you're not going to blow them off, right? And if you feel like a little bit warmer to that person. So we can use different things to do that, but technology is not going to solve it all by any means. It's going to help you immensely. It's going to give you volume of leads that you would never get, but it's not going to solve all the problems, right? So we have to be very clear on that, what it will do and what it won't do. What it will do is it will keep you a constant funnel of new leads coming in, and out of that, you're going to funnel a percentage of them that will book, and then a small percentage of those are actually going to book right now. But that doesn't mean that all these other people are not viable. They're just not ready yet, right? Or maybe half of them are like, yeah, it kind of looked ideal, and then they went to somebody else. Somebody else got them, right? That's the reality. There's no other system that's going to solve all that for you. So that's the other thing I want to make clear too, is that there's some shiny object over there that you can buy that will eradicate that problem. There's not a marketing company that you could go to that's going to eradicate that problem. What they're going to do is just try to get more nurture. They're just going to say, well, we'll send them an email, do an email campaign. Okay, how fast this is what they're going to say. How quickly are you contacting them when they hit? That's the nature of it, because there's a certain stopping point that technology can do for you, and then that's it. So how do we solve that? One, your point of difference. How do you stand out in your community that people really understand what you are offering in your secret sauce? Very important, right? And they want to know the person behind the brand. So like, for instance, you got Profit Academy, but I would imagine if you guys were talking to someone and saying you should join Dr. Dawn's program, it's the Profit Academy. You're not going to go join the Profit Academy. You're going to go see Dr. Dawn and Shay, right? And they have the profit. That's how you would probably refer someone. Same thing with your clients, right? So they're going to say, go see Myra, and they would probably don't even say the name of your business half the time. So in your branding, you want it, but you also want them to know what's secret about you and also who you connect with. The other thing that I think is very important for ease of booking is starting out with like-minded people as your audience, right? So if you have a certain language, if you're bilingual, you can start going in those communities and you can start building that there first, because they're going to be quickly aligned with you especially if they're like expats or they're a minority in the area, right? So that, or what are your favorite passions that you're already into? Like for instance, here, I love being around horses. I can network with horse ladies if I wanted to, and I would get a lot of clients from the horse community because I naturally enjoy that, right? So if you haven't done these events and gotten out of the studio, you have to do this, okay? It is essential that you don't rely on Facebook ads only to fill your entire business, right? That's only a portion of it. So again, when you're thinking about these, you want to also organize these leads. You don't want to lose them and lose track and all these things going on. So when you're thinking of your week, okay, you want to proportion certain days of the week or one day a week, if that's all you have, to go and actually get out of the house and make it a habit. Remember what I said about habits? You start them, usually habits you do when you're not ready, right? Like for instance, if you're like, all right, I got to make it a habit every Monday, I'm going to just get in my car and I don't care what's going on. I'm going to dress up and I'm going to go out and I'm going to go meet someone. I'm going to go to a salon. I'm going to go meet someone and make that a habit. Right? You do that a few times, even though you don't feel like it. Remember, feelings follow thoughts. So you tell yourself, I'm going to go do this regardless. If it's raining, if it's snowing, I don't care. I'm going out. I'm going to go meet. In fact, if it's raining, it's even better because guess what? Nobody else is going to go meet with them when it's raining, but you are, because you're a rock star, right? You're like, I want to make $200,000 a year. I am going to do this because you know what? This is what's going to benefit me in the long run. Right? It's always the people that make that extra step that nobody else wants to do that win and make the most money. It's the people that work on Sunday afternoon when everybody else is watching football, right? So make it a point to do things that are uncomfortable until they're comfortable, especially if you're introverted, Myra. I know you're introverted too, but you don't have to be like a dancing pony to get people. You just walk in and you're just terrific just the way you are. Hello, my name is Myra. I have this business down here. I would love to network with you. Could we set a time, some coffee? I'd like to know more about your business. Just like that. Doesn't have to be a dance and pony show. In fact, you should just be you, right? People know authenticity. Like I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go in with a pony show. I'd probably go in with a basket and go, "Hey girl, how's it going? Let's meet up." That's just my personality. Just be